This is a what-if scenario, where we explore the impossible, the unexpected, and the unknown. Get ready to dive into a world of questions and surprising answers. When Earth spins, the ground at the equator races east at about 465 meters per second, over 1,600 kilometers per hour. You don't feel it because everything around you moves with the planet. If Earth suddenly stopped for 1 second, your body would keep moving east at that speed. That's inertia, the rule that moving things keep moving unless something stops them. The ground would slam into your feet with brutal sideways force. People, cars, and loose objects would be hurled eastward like debris in a supersonic storm. Closer to the poles, the sideways speed is smaller, so the damage is less. But near the equator, the hit is catastrophic. Skyscrapers are bolted to bedrock, but furniture, glass, and interior walls are not. Inside every building, everything not anchored would side east at terrifying speed. Bridges, cranes, and billboards would shear and twist as their joints take impossible loads. Highways would look as if a giant hand scraped them clean. The atmosphere keeps its eastward momentum too. To a suddenly stopped ground, the air becomes a planet-wide wind approaching or exceeding the speed of sound at low latitudes. Shock fronts would rip across cities. Dust, sand, and debris turn into high-velocity shrapnel. Trees would snap, roofs peel, and entire neighborhoods scour away. The oceans also keep moving east. Water piles up against east-facing coasts, driving mega-tsunamis far inland. On west-facing shores, sea levels drop for moments, exposing seafloor. Then the water surges back violently. Harbors, ships, and ports are shredded. River water yanks east, overrunning banks and smashing bridges. Dams face chaotic loads they were never designed to handle. The crust and mantle don't stop perfectly together. That mismatch triggers global earthquakes as faults slip to catch up with the sudden change in stress. Volcanoes near critical pressure may erupt from jostled magma pathways. Even dormant regions could cough ash as rock fractures and vents open. Power lines whip, transformers blow, and grids trip offline. With substations damaged and control rooms wrecked, restoration is not a quick switch flip. Airplanes are moving with the air, not the ground. Pilots would fight impossible lateral winds, while runways, towers, and navigation gear on the surface are torn apart. Trains derail as tracks shift and cars lunge east. Freight yards become fields of twisted steel. Highways jam with crashed vehicles shoved sideways. Emergency services themselves are victims, vehicles flipped, stations damaged, communications down. Inside homes, the danger is mundane and lethal. Appliances, bookshelves, and glassware become projectiles. Hallways fill with a blizzard of sharp fragments. Even underground spaces feel it. Transit tunnels rattle, and anything not bolted, tools, panels, carts, shoots east along the floor. Mountains won't fall over, but rock faces shed. Avalanches unload slopes that were hanging near failure. For 1 second, gravity still pulls down. What changes is horizontal momentum. That sideways punch, hundreds of meters per second, is what breaks the world. After exactly 1 second, Earth's rotation resumes as before in this thought experiment. But the damage is already baked in. Winds, waves, and fires now feed on chaos. The atmosphere doesn't instantly relock to the ground. It keeps roaring until friction and terrain gradually bleed off the speed, hours to days of extreme weather. Ocean basins slosh like bowls. Multiple basin-scale waves ricochet between coasts for days, flooding, retreating, and flooding again. Ports are wrecked, so fuel and aid can't move easily. Relief ships must wait for calmer seas and usable docks. Coastal cities suffer the worst from water. Inland cities suffer the worst from wind and debris. Everywhere, the east-facing sides of structures are sandblasted and torn. Hospitals face mass casualties while losing power, water, and sterile environments. Operating rooms become triage centers with limited supplies. With grids down and roads blocked, communications fragment into local islands. Radios and satellite phones guide the first coordinated responses. Satellites keep orbiting. Space doesn't care that the ground paused for a second. But ground antennas, dishes, and tracking systems are damaged or misaligned. Timekeeping on Earth hiccups as networks fail, but atomic clocks keep ticking. Restarting synchronized systems takes days once power and infrastructure return. Agriculture takes a hit from saltwater intrusion, windburn, and smashed irrigation. Storage silos, greenhouses, and barns are torn open. Factories that survived still stop. Workers can't reach them, parts can't arrive, power isn't steady. Supply chains need repaired ports, rails, roads, and data. Insurance losses soar beyond anything recorded. Many policies exclude acts of God at this scale. Governments become the insurer of last resort. Economically, the shortest disaster creates the longest repairs. A 1-second stop seeds years of rebuilding. Could anyone be safe? Underground bunkers with reinforced interiors and independent power give the best odds if stocked and sealed. Could we predict who is hit hardest? The rule is simple. The closer to the equator and the more exposed, the worse the lateral blow. Could Earth actually stop like that? Physics says no, nothing can grab the whole planet and cancel its spin in an instant without unimaginable forces. Remove it, even briefly, and everything we built moves on without us. 1 second doesn't sound like much. Yet at 465 meters per second, 1 second is a citywide shove. When motion stops but momentum doesn't, survival is about anchoring and shelter, not running. By the time you stand, the eastward storm has already passed through you. And when the spin returns, the silence won't. What other impossible seconds should we test next? Subscribe to What If Labs_X, and let's keep asking the questions that push the world.